Welcome to Marsha's Plate, a Black trans-inclusive feminist podcast. A place where we know that not everybody is invited to the cookout. And we also know that every single day is a brand new day, and we have the power to make a difference today. So let's do this. It's a new day, brand new day, make it better than yesterday. You can always find a way to turn it all around again. It's a new day, brand new day, make it better than yesterday. You can always find a way to start over again. Tuesday, when the sun rises, you can start over again. A new day, you can make it better than yesterday. It's a new day, it's a new day, new day. There's a way you can turn it around. Trust me, there's a way out. There's more time. Just don't give up. When the sun rises on a new day, you got another chance. Yeah, 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 yeah. A new day, you got another chance. If you want to join the conversation, you can hashtag Marsha's Plate. You can follow us on most social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. Just search for Marsha's Plate, MARSHASPLATE. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's going on?
Peace, 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 peace.
You know what's wild to me is that a country that is so gun crazy, why is it no accuracy? Why is it no kind of
Ability to aim well?
what is going on with the accuracy of these so-called shooters?
These motherfuckers is out here buying the guns up, but they ain't spending no time at the range.
Yeah, it just feels like y'all suck at aiming or suck at planning. Like, back in the day, Lee Harvey Oswald and
Not
It was
Lee Harvey
success.
Oswald.
is that his name?
Yeah, that's all that Jack Ruby, that whole thing is up for grabs in terms of
Who
did he
did?
really do it?
Right.
He got killed by Jack Ruby right away.
That or what's the Booth name? Wilkes Booth?
John Wilkes Booth, honey.
Yeah, like what's going on? Like it feels like
Diamond, how's you forgetting their names? You know you only got a couple options. You know you only got John, Daniel, Robert. You know, with white men, you only got a couple options. But I don't know if y'all know, Cole Allen didn't even make it into the damn dinner. Holly. He was shooting in the hotel. He was shooting the Hilton up, honey.
You know what's wild though? I think I saw something by Simone Sanders, and she was talking about her experience as a journalist, as somebody who has attended this event, and like the regular security precautions weren't being done at that time. Like it takes a lot to kind of get through. So like the basic it's like the regular security, the level of it that they would have for this kind of event where the president is at it, they weren't even doing that. So there were a lot of gaps in the security. We don't know why. Like all of a sudden we got gaps, and apparently that's the same place where the attempt was made on Ronald Reagan. I think that's what I heard. I don't know. Did y'all hear about that?
That's at the Hilton Reagan Hotel. They were at that. That's where they had the event.
At the Hilton. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah, that is the place.
Yep. That was another John too, right?
I don't know.
John Hinckley.
I
think that was the guy that tried to shoot him. That's another John.
My tea is like, this is none of my business. If they lacking on the security, child,
listen, it was weird to see some of the reactions. I know that clearly people were shooting. Clearly people were traumatized. Clearly, particularly everybody that wasn't on stage may not have been in on what was happening, because a lot of people were fucking scared and under tables. I heard a couple Black journalists talk about, I think it was like Jonathan Capehart and what is this man's name? Eugene. He's on MSNBC. super gay, very fashionable. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but anyway, he's a commentator. And they were talking about, they were kind of salty that some people were like, oh, it's staged, it's fake. They're like, no, we were under the table calling family and all this kind of shit. Like people, what the fuck? April Ryan, who's a journalist, Black journalist, she actually was out like reporting live from the thing, after it happened once they were outside, but she was shook. So it definitely was some real gunshots, is all I'm saying. But it was weird too to see so many people like in the cabinet, and how JD Vance, I don't know if y'all saw the video, but like the Secret Service, it seemed like they took JD Vance
It wasn't
out
no
in a
scene.
way more
It
seriously.
wasn't. It wasn't.
They're a little slow
It
to
wasn't a
attend
scene.
to the principal, to the
It
president
wasn't.
that they
It
were supposed
wasn't
to
a
protect.
scene, honey. They very clearly escorted JD Vance to safety before escorting Donald Trump to safety. I personally don't think that this, and I'm the 10 head conspiracy theory girl, and I was just telling Diamond before we started shooting that I don't think this is staged. It's not giving conspiracy theory. Also, he's had a couple of assassination attempts recently, and I think that's why a lot of people are up in arms about Homeland Security and Secret Service and all of the things, because just last week on YouTube I showed a video of somebody shooting at him while they were outside. And honey, he didn't react like he reacted at the first shooting when he was pumping fists and all that. Honey, he was very much given like, it was a little bit piss and shit in that diaper,
Do y'all care?
Do I care that a Black man who is been successful on his journey in life, who has been inspirational, who has the potential to be even more, I'm mad that somebody who's destined for greatness threw away their life for attempting to shoot this motherfucker, and they wasn't even successful. They didn't even complete the objective. Not that for all the FBI Secret Service listening, not that I would condone anybody shooting the president. But yeah, honey, I don't give a good goddamn. I wish they slid him the first time before we had even got to the election booth, to be honest. And then yeah.
No. So no violence, but no violence with federal employees. We're not even messing with your mail, right? Because that's a federal crime. Don't hit the bus driver because you're hitting a government employee type shit. But yeah, no, it was it that
No. I want you to ask, do you care?
Oh, do I care? I mean, I think
I care.
I care in the sense of like, there beyond the orange person, there are a lot of other people there. I care in the sense of like, I'll say this: it concerns me. I think we all should be informed about it. But excuse me, I'm not gonna like lose some sleep, but it does bother me that they're doing what they're doing. Whoever's doing what they're doing, because to me it just seems like they're just doing like little practice. Because a lot of stuff they do is like to see how far they can push, even when it comes to us as trans people and other policies that they have. It's like, how far can we push? I think that they trying to see what they can do later with that situation. Now, I do think this young person.
When you say they, who do you mean?
Them people.
The Illuminati.
I'm saying, well, I think that there is something else going on with that first attempt and this. I'm not saying that it did happen, but I do think something's up, because you're all of a sudden, when Obama was president, he had a lot of threats. Apparently he had more threats than any other president ever combined. And the Secret Service did their job. And like, they're not doing like this situation, especially to have so many people who are journalists come out and say, I'm going to this thing for the last 5, 10, 20, 30 years. I didn't even have to, when I rolled up to the thing and I just walked straight through, and they didn't ask me for my credentials. They didn't ask me all the protocol that they were used to in terms of security. Most of that wasn't even happening.
But
So
the
like
thing about it,
something, you know, it. So I care in the sense that like I get. I mean, I don't. I care in the sense of just I don't really care. I think it's important to be informed. Let me back
I
up.
was
Let
getting
me use my
ready to
words right.
say, I was about to say, God damn, nigga, if you double dutch around answering that question again, honey, I'm
Yeah.
gonna kick you off the playground.
I don't know if you noticed, I was eating a little something. I'm kind of catching up on the brain.
this is
Um,
this is what I'm kind of that I feel. I feel like you have when your administration has taken over, there's multiple people that leave, that they have fired, that they have replaced, and clearly they aren't somebody that prioritize competency. So what if this is just incompetence that they have hired to take care of them? Like it feels like to me that just like the lacking in other departments, of course, and if this type of administration who doesn't care about competency is going to have lacking in security departments too. Why would I think that, oh my God, they have the state of the top security people? I just don't think that that would be something that would be a priority. They don't prioritize any other kind of competency. I can't see that. I just don't see it.
Agreed.
Pardon?
Agreed.
well,
I
I
mean,
mean, yeah.
Cash Patel is the fucking FBI director. And while everybody else was under tables and shit, he was sitting looking around. This man ain't even smart enough to know when to fucking duck and run.
And to
I
answer
mean,
my own question,
mm,
I'm really just indifferent about it. Like I'm
mm,
just very much like, okay, I don't care. Like I don't care. Uh, This is out of all the presidents that I have lived through in my 45 years, this is one that I just don't give a fuck about. Like I don't care. Like I don't care what happens. It's to the point that you have done so much wrong in regards to not caring about people's lives, including my demographic, but other demographic that's outside of me. You have done so much that I would feel hypocritical for caring about that motherfucker. Like, nigga, you don't care about anybody. Why the fuck would I care about you? Now, what I do worry about is when you push this envelope. Well, I mean, the envelope already done pushed. It ain't been no assassinations before, but it just feels like, it just it doesn't set a precedent because it's been done before. So it just makes me wary of like we it's a regression. That what I care about is the regression of civility. But I guess if we bombing fucking babies and we fucking caging babies, putting babies in cages and separating from their mind, we're past civility. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm tripping. So that's what I'm just very indifferent about it. I didn't go when I heard about the assassination tip. I didn't go look at nothing. I didn't go look up. Ooh, who did this? When did it happen? Where that? As soon as I heard, I was like, oh, and went on, continued watching whatever I was watching. So I didn't even fucking care.
I was actually at a party, and I was the one in the party who had noticed that it was a bunch of automatic machine rifles, people ducking and running on the fucking TV. Maybe it's my PTSD that even when I see people ducking and running on the television, honey, I'm alert and I'm ready. You know what I mean? But yeah, and I sat and watched the whole evacuation and went right back to motherfucking partying. You know what I mean? All the niggas in the building didn't give a fuck, honey. When I told them that the president was being shot at, they didn't stop drinking, they didn't stop dancing, didn't stop smiling. One of my family members, who shall remain unnamed, honey, was upset. I already told y'all before that they MAGA. Yes, they black, honey, blacker than me. If we talking phenotypically, honey, if we speaking about melanation, baby, this nigga was upset, honey. I told Diamond, and then I'm ashamed to have to say this, but you on the wrong side of history when the cracker is laughing at you being upset. When the white man is laughing at you being MAGA, you should know that you is the problem.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah.
to add on to to what Jay was saying. I think that the people in charge, and the people in charge, I jokingly say the Illuminati, but I really just mean the people who are more rich and more powerful than Trump, the people whose pockets he's in, his puppeteers. I think that they letting us know, and they letting the public know, and they letting his base know that they get ready to clock him up out of here.
I was gonna say, Diamond, I think I was trying to get is like, I care about the fallout more so than like the thing that happened, the potential fallout for everybody else, for all of us, right? In terms of them kind of overreacting to this incident. I think I saw something about, they were like, yes, and so we need to have a ballroom because someone made an assassination attempt again. So we should do this ball, like, they all over the place. So who knows what they're gonna do with that information. But yeah, no, I didn't really, I just saw it because I saw some Black people, who were journalists, had posted something. I was like, oh shit, I'm like, what the April Ryan doing outside? Yeah, no, yep.
Okay.
I just care about the fallout. Don't really care about what happened. I don't believe in violence. Just want to, like you breathe for the FBI, CIA, everybody, all the whole alphabet. No, we're not saying that.
Well,
honey, if a nigga had killed the white person, honey, you better trust and believe that all the alphabets would have been on.
I will say this though, it kind of reminded me of what happened when that DC sniper, because you could have swore up and down. I think most Black people were like, that person is not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a little surprised that this person was not Caucasian. But I guess they're half Caucasian, so.
Well, anyway, let us know what y'all think about. Did y'all care about the assassination attempt, or were y'all indifferent like me? I don't really give a fuck, but I want to know if y'all give a fuck. Hashtag Marsha's Plate.
Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Period.
So, they've done it, what they've been trying to do for so long. Today, the Supreme Court basically took a chainsaw to a major piece of the Voting Rights Act. They said, hey, y'all can keep slicing those voting districts however you want. Just don't say the quiet part out loud. Like, as long as they call it partisanship and not racial bias, suddenly it's all good. Yeah, okay. Cute. Real cute. And honestly, it's just the latest episode in this ongoing series where the court seems real comfortable clocking out early on its job to protect everybody's rights. That small miter responsibility to protect democracy for everybody, not just the people in power. Because this is going to allow states to legally gerrymander their districts, this is going to totally gut Black power, brown power, any minority power. Bitch, they're going to gerrymander the fuck out of us so that no matter what we do, our votes have less value based on how they redistrict your city, your county. This is fucking crazy and insane. But it's not too late. Here's the thing. This ain't the end of the story. It's a setback. Yeah, it's motherfucking frustrating. The kind that makes you want to yell at your fucking TV like it can hear you, or yell at your phone, yell at somebody like, what the fuck is going on with these people? Are these people crazy? Yeah, it makes you frustrated, but still, we've been here before, and this is the only way anything changes if you folks actually care about democracy. Stop treating voting like it is a pop-up event every 4 years. No. You have to vote every election on every level. Show up and handle your business. This is the situation that we in. You can't sit it out over some overseas stuff that's going on. You can't sit it out because you mad at the gender wars. You can't sit it out for whatever reason that you may have sat out. This is a time where we prove that all of that shit that our ancestors went through wasn't in vain. There's people literally who have died for this. And they are rolling it fucking back. These right-wing, conservative, Christian nationalists, white supremacists, they are getting their Project 2025. And we can't just roll over like we don't have any power right now. Because if they're out here playing games with the system, the only move left is to outnumber this nonsense. We have to get out here and vote. Not just ourselves, we got to get other people out to vote. Your cousins, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, your friends. Make it a thing. Now remember, I am not telling you or implying that voting is the end-all be-all solution to all of our problems. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it is a tool in our toolbox that we need to utilize for future endeavors to win and push our agenda, our country, our livelihood forward. Like, it's just a part of the strategy. It's a tool that we can use. That is a part of the strategy. There's tons of other stuff that we gotta do. There's tons of other things that we can do. There's moving parts. There's tons of other stuff. But this one thing, voting, is a part of the strategy to make it easier in other arenas. It is not, I'm not telling you this as it is that it's the end all be all solution. I'm just saying we are missing the mark when it comes to only 40 to 60%, 60% in the presidential race and 40% in the local races. We're missing the mark when it comes to people actually being out here exercising their right to vote. So yeah. Oh my God, I want to thank all of our new patrons this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay, 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 yay. So not only are you helping to sustain this particular podcast, I also donate to other podcasts. I donate to other organizations. I have my finger on the pulse of the community, and I know a lot of grassroots organizations that are doing great work out here. So you're not only helping to sustain us, you're helping to sustain other people in a community, because I put my money where my mouth is. That's just the kind of bitch I am. Community is fuck. So thank you. I really, really appreciate you. And if you have not become a patron, why have you not? You can donate as low as $1 a month. It doesn't matter. Anything helps. Please. Do I have to play Sarah McLachlan and show you puppies? Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to resort to what the white people do to get you to give them money? Anyway, the link is in the bottom. Back to the show.
There's a video, I'm sure a lot of y'all know, I know you two know who Teak Milan is. He does a lot of advocacy work and media work around trans issues. Yeah, so he posted this video, and a lot of it was talking about, because, we've seen a lot of femicide, which is like murder of women because they're women. And especially in the Black community, we saw Dr. Serena, who was murdered. The situation down in Shreveport, Louisiana, he touches on that. And other cases, more recent cases, even though this is forever.
Trans woman murdered recently.
Yeah, by her partner, right. He really touched on a lot of good points. He talked about these recent murders. He's talked about some of the stats around violence. He's talked about the culture around like cis men, straight men in particular, just being on trash shit and entitled. And violent as fuck and feeling like that's some normal ass shit. And also he mentioned briefly about how it complicates his shit as a trans man, right? When people kind of project those things onto him, it's like, I'm not trying to practice that kind of masculinity. That's not how I see my manhood and navigating that. But it's obviously, it makes sense if, particularly if you're not a trans person, I think, and you're making those assumptions. But yeah, I'd like to get y'all thoughts on the video because this is it kind of, it's not related to the topic, but it's kind of related to what you were talking about, Bree, in terms of, you know, a lot of times when people cheat, you know, it is a violation and there is a power and control thing going on too with that. But yeah, I'd like to get y'all thoughts initially on the video, and how do you, and your thoughts about it overall, and then also like what does that mean for us as a community and how we can navigate those things or kind of push back on those things.
What I heard Teak saying in that video was cis, hetero, male masculinity is dangerous. This has been something that I have been hearing my people latching onto and catching onto for the past few months. I would say since the top of 2026, I've noticed that this has been a narrative that Black people are starting to understand. And when I say that, I mean Black people in general, Black people as a whole. The average Black person has heard this by this point, has heard the idea that men are the problem. Cis, hetero men are the problem specifically. And they're the danger to us all. Not only are they the ones who divide us in order for them to conquer, but they are the ones who are literally physically taking us out. And the numbers are extremely high all over the world. For me, I question whether the numbers are higher now than they have been in the past, or do we just have more access to more information now? And is the information more credible now because fact checking is so easy? In this moment, I can't think of anything profound to say about it, but it's been something that I knew in the back of my mind as a boy. Since transitioning into a woman, there's a whole different level of neglect I feel socially, whether it's professionally, when I'm in a room full of men, when I'm applying for a job in a male-dominated facility, walking down the street and seeing a bunch of masculine or overtly masculine presenting men, I feel in danger. I've never had partners treat me so bad and be so willing and so quick to toss me around, smack me. I don't know if it would have been the same being a feminine if I didn't transition and stayed, a feminine man. But I do know also that there's a level of privilege that I'll never feel because I've never been a masculine presenting man or male. Again, yeah, it's something I try not to think about, but I know we're in danger.
What about you, Diamond? What's some of your like initial thoughts on some of that other video, the different points that Tika highlighted?
So first of all, I love Teak. I love him as a person. He's somebody that has been on the show. He also is somebody who I have had the pleasure of meeting multiple times in person, and not just in the work, but actually being able to sit down and talk to him and see how his mind works when he's not even, sometimes you meet people who are popular and they'll be putting on
and not being fake, not necessarily being fake, but they're putting on because we're at an event, and so it's like it's a certain thing. But I've sat down and talked to him and had behind the scenes conversations that indicate that he just has a brilliant mind. So I love when he really gets in his bag and talks about something deeply, and that's my initial thoughts. But in regards to the subject, it's one of the first betrayals, societal betrayals to me. Like as a person growing up, as a little boy, it was taught to me that you don't hit girls. Men are supposed to protect women. Men are supposed to be the protector, the provider, and you don't hit girls. You don't hit women. But I don't know any woman in my life growing up that was not abused by the man that was in her life. Like I don't know one. My mom was abused by my stepdad for the first 7 years of my life. My grandmother, and I'm talking about men who this ain't just men who are like now my stepdad was evil. Like he felt like the stereotypical evil woman beater. But my grandfather, on the other hand, he was the one who was like introduced me to jazz, introduced me to Billie Holiday, let me be queer freely without abusing me. Let me be like he found my queerness to be eccentric and cool, and he let me be free in that way. So he was a male that I loved in my life as I grew up. But he too hit my mom, not my mom, my grandmother. And so, and I've talked about my grandmother being like my life arch nemesis. She's somebody that did accept me in that kind of way. So this is somebody that I love abusing somebody that I really don't really like that much, but I knew he was wrong for hitting her. You see what I'm saying? So I would be in a situation where I gotta hit my granddaddy with a broom because he's fighting my grandmother, and I don't even like my grandmother like that. But I've been in this situation, and so then we have that. My aunt, I remember my aunt Marvella. She's not my biological aunt, but she is the stud that the first queer person that I ever knew. She was one of my mom's best friends, and I remember her and her girlfriend battling and bashing each other, and she was the masculine dyke taking on the nigger role. And so in my brain, not only is you a girl, but you trying to be the boy. Like, I didn't, I'm young, so I don't know the nuance of da 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 da. But in my brain as a kid, I'm like, you the boy in a relationship, and you're mimicking boys. That's how I took it at 6, 7, 8 years old. I'm like, you the boy in a relationship, and you out here running around. So of course you're gonna act like these niggas. You're not gonna. It's not gonna be. That's just what it was, and that's how I thought that's how niggas are. Even though she wasn't a nigga, but because she was so masculine, I consider her at 5 and 6, 7, the boy in a relationship because that's how the language that they used when I was growing up to explain certain things. And then when I got older into my own life, so as a little queer light skinned boy, I was always exposed to male violence. That's just what it was. I was always exposed to niggas trying to bully me, niggas trying to toughen me up, niggas trying to use me to get street creds, to fight me to try to get street cred, to fight me because some girl said that my eyes were pretty, and oh, you think you all that because you light skin. And I've been exposed to niggas violence all my life for no apparent reason, no bullshit reason. It's been something that I has been exposed to all my life. What changed when I became a woman was, to me, I felt like I was more exposed to the sexual violence. Not saying that there weren't people trying that shit when I was a little boy, because I've discussed that, but that was more covert. People would sneak and try to catch me in the room to do, you know what I'm saying? It would be sneaky. Whereas when I became a woman, I'm at the club and people would touch me, and I'm at the it's certain kind of it's ways shit that I was exposed to as a woman more openly than when I was a boy. Do you see what I'm saying? Mostly because I was a queer boy, most of the niggas would be trying to sneak and do stuff behind undercover. Whereas now that I'm a woman, if I'm somewhere, I got a bikini on and I'm at the beach and I'm at this beach party, it can turn into something where somebody is trying to impose themselves on me in a way that didn't happen before. Now, mind you, I've been a girl for a very long time, since I was 13. And so I've grown up with boys who didn't have their frontal lobe all the way developed, and I've grown up and been in situations with grown ass fucking 30 something 40 something year old men in violent situations like that. So that's what for me, that's my experience. Like I don't it's not much difference, but as a woman, if I'm to compare the two, when I became a girl, it felt like the sexual violence went up instead of just the normal stereotypical violence stayed the same. Niggas is violent. That's just what it is.
In a situation for us as Black trans people, Black trans femme folks, Black trans women, Black trans men, Black trans non-binary people, Black trans masculine people, in a situation, in a world where, you know, you talked about the leading cause of death for Black women. One of the leading causes of death for Black women between 15 and 45 is intimate partner violence.
Yeah.
And over 66% of Black women have been sexually assaulted by the age of 18. So that means...
And only people who beat our numbers is Native American women.
Right. And this is and to breathe what you were talking about earlier, like the numbers, it's like, you know, all of this stuff is underreported. So, and we know that for sure. So for us as a community, where we have some folks who have had your situations where the both of you transitioned very young and didn't get socialized in that culture in your 20s, where we have a situation where you have some trans masculine people who are socialized in that, some who are not, many of whom are not. I know I've run into times where people were salty that I wasn't participating in that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And because that's all they knew. Kind of breathe what you talked about. You're like, all I know is this. And then surprise, I'm running into a trans guy who's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know what the fuck you know what I'm saying? And because, you know what I'm saying? Like really, in dating, in interpersonal relationship, but especially in dating, I've seen it within our community. How do you think with this information, because this is trans women getting fucked over and killed. This is trans masculine people getting fucked over and killed. There are plenty of trans men and trans masculine people who are read as cis assumed women all the time and are men, in addition to folks who are not, you know what I'm saying, in that number when we talk about this violence. How do you think we can
trans women
not necessarily hold it, but shift educate each other, shift the culture within our own community? You know what I'm saying? Because we have our community, you know, it's like we don't have to move in the same way that the cis people do. Do you get what I'm saying? And there's some folks who kind of push back on it. Obviously, we all push back on that. And there's other folks in our community who uphold it because they think that because of the social pressures and messaging of bullshit, say that's what it means to be once you trans like cis people. Even though that shit is toxic, we don't have to do what the cis people do to be authentically us, you know. But yeah, do you think there's ways we can challenge it within our community, based on our histories, our expectations, or lack thereof, so that we can have a different expectation with one another? Not with everybody, obviously. Everybody, trans people, we all over. But, you know, we're definitely able, I think we all are more connected than we've ever been and have the ability to be more connected than we ever been, much more so than even early in my transition, which was like 16 years ago or so. Do you think we can shift the culture within our community or like shift the expectations of that bullshit and try to let folks know like this shit is not healthy? Like we don't need to, you know, perpetuate this bullshit amongst us, you know, even though obviously it's still gonna breathe. But I do think, me personally, to answer the question, I do think we can resist this and shift expectations, because like violence, that's a problem. So, but yeah, what are y'all thoughts? Because we definitely live in a world now where more Black trans people are able to see each other, communicate with each other. There's a lot less isolation than there used to be, even though people are still isolated.
The biggest thing that I promote is telling your story, and also telling it publicly. I also promote exposing. I don't know why we've gotten to this culture where telling your truth about people who have violated you, how somehow the people who speak up and tell the truth have become the villain. And I know this is not new, and especially when it comes to women telling their truths about men, even other women will protect the man. But I don't see femicide being something that the legal system shows that they really care about, honestly.
But how do you see it within the context of us as trans people? Because we definitely do have a intimate partner violence problem, even
Oh
within the
yeah,
community.
yeah.
You know,
That's one of my published studies, honey.
but yeah.
Yeah. It, the rates of intimate partner violence, they don't change with the LGBTQ plus community. I think in some cases, in some places, it may be even higher per capita in LGBTQ plus
Yes.
relationships. I just don't tolerate no bullshit when it comes to dating and romantic relationships. Any sign of uncontrolled anger, uncontrolled aggression, um, violent tendencies, sociopathic tendencies, psychopathic tendencies, narcissistic tendencies. I don't tolerate any of that. I've had people on the internet before question, and people still do question me now about partners that I picked for my choice in partner. And it's always simple. I pick people based on how they treat me. I pick people based on our connection as friends. And I wouldn't even consider somebody that I don't find physically attractive. But there have been people who I friend zoned and ended up falling for them after I got to know them and got to know their personality. Ultimately, that's the biggest advice that I give all queer people, and all people in general. Don't tolerate their bullshit. Speak out, speak your truth, expose these people for public safety reasons. Um, yeah, that's all I got.
What about you, Diamond?
In our community, particular as trans people, because there's a couple of themes that I see that I be side eyeing that I'm like, two things. When trans men are violent to their partners, the excuse is they're trying to mimic cis men. They are trying to mimic the toxic masculinity of the cis
Mm-hmm.
people and da 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 da. When
Mm-hmm.
trans women are violent against their partners, it's always, oh, that's because she was born a man, and that male must, that turfy idea of you born a male, and so you're conditioned to be a man, so now you're being violent. You're showing your real man side. I see these two things happen many, many times. And because of those things, because of those kind of weird dynamics, it puts us in a situation where I think people stay silent about shit because people on the outside will come in and take this scenario and blow it up for the political reasons instead of fixing the problem in the community or in the situation. Like if you have like a sexual assault, if this trans woman is doing this crazy ass shit, my mindset is I don't give a fuck. You are a predator. I'm gonna call you the fuck out. I don't give a fuck what Republicans are gonna say. I don't give a fuck if Republicans is gonna use it against the community. Yes, is that a horrible situation that they can use this situation? But bitch, you shouldn't have been doing the shit you were fucking doing. Because if you cared about our fucking community, you wouldn't be doing this fucking shit. So sometimes, just like with cis people, if you do some crazy ass shit, motherfuckers might weaponize it. And so for
Right.
me, I think that that is a problem. And not just sexual violence, but any kind of violence. Anything that goes wrong, whether it be a trans man doing it or a trans woman doing it, we don't talk about it loud enough because we think other people are going to weaponize it against us. And I think that there's a level to that's true, but I don't give a fuck. If something is wrong, you need to say something about it.
I was going to say on that a couple things, but to your point on that, there's a lot of issues around sexual assault and rape, particularly around for trans masculine people in our community. That's a fucking thing. It's been a thing a long time. And the reason a lot of people did not say shit, haven't said shit, is what you said. And really all you're doing is still doing the shit you were doing when you're in that 66% of Black girls by the time of 18 been sexually assaulted. These are the same people. They're not different people. They're not different people because they're trans. There's those same people. And then they transition. Like, that's who's in that chunk. And I think sometimes that people forget that, even some trans guys forget that. But like, I do think there's a mimicking fucked up cis hetero patriarchy bullshit that's about dominance, power, and control. That is what that, to me, that is what that is. And that has to be a part of the conversation. Yeah. Because, okay, and then in terms of trans women, for trans women who don't have the experience you two have, there are many trans women who grew up and got all that messaging that everybody gets that people assume are assigned male at birth, just like you got some of it. I mean, you talked about that when you were younger. You've mentioned some of the stuff, Bree, and that is a real fucking thing. And there's we know trans men who transition kind of young and were socialized that way as well. So that's not, to me, like that, that's just the truth. That's not everybody's truth, but that is the truth for some people. For some trans women, that is their fucking truth. Doesn't make them less of a woman, but you're trans. So at some point you transition, right? And when you transition into a different situation socially that you both talked about. And Bree talking about, like, look, I don't feel as safe as I did. I don't have the same. I'm probably told to shut the fuck up and defer all the fucking time, right? So like that's true. And simultaneously, it's just interesting because it's like simultaneously, that's the reason why, for sure, I definitely know a lot of trans masculine people don't speak up about shit, is because of the conditioning they got before they transition, or even while they were transitioning, other people didn't know. Right? Like, your people might know that you're trans, but your other people might not know that you're trans. Like I was saying earlier, you got people out here, trans men, not all trans men take hormones. Not all trans men are read as cis assumed men either. A lot of trans men are read as cis assumed women in the general world, but not in the community. That's just what the fuck it is. And that's for a lot of trans guys, for folks who do take hormones and don't. Usually for a lot of people that do take hormones, they go a minute like that before they do. So you still out here, we're all kind of navigating these things, but together. You know what I'm saying? From the same fucking source of bullshit, which is like the patriarchy and this power control shit and dominant shit.
I'll be honest and say that in my experience, I can only speak of my experience. Trans men romantically have been more violent than they have been the most violent out of the people that I've dated. The closest I've been to being in a physically abusive romantic relationship was with a trans guy. The first person I was in a romantic relationship. Now, don't get me wrong. Outside of all of this, cis het men have still been more violent than trans men to me overall, in public, all of those things. But behind closed doors, trans men have been the most violent to me, romantically. I think we can, just like anything, we can make a million excuses and we can justify it. And there are legitimate reasons, I'm sure, for a lot of people, it could be a variation of things. For some people, it may or may not be hormones. For some people, it may or may not be socialization and conditioning. For some people, it may or may not be acting out trauma. For me, that has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. Like Diamond said, if you violate, and like we spoke about earlier, violating your partner by cheating, violating a partner physically, doing physical harm to somebody, I think trumps cheating for me, just from the safety perspective of it all. One hit, you could hit somebody in the wrong place. One hit could make somebody trip, fall down, die. You know what I mean? Yes, it's possible to get STDs and shit from cheating as well, but more direct harm comes from physical violence. I don't know what the tea is. I don't know why it's so acceptable and ignored. And I'll even add this as well. In my experience being younger, going to gay clubs, when I was in the queer clubs up until I turned 30, I pretty much stopped clubbing at 30. If I'm in there now, I'm getting paid. But yeah, it's always the lesbians fighting in the queer club. And maybe it's because we're deemed or we're conditioned to be for it to be more acceptable for women to fight, or people assigned female at birth to fight. Maybe we find it more acceptable for women to fight. I think as a culture, it's possible we find it more acceptable for women to fight because it's seen as less harmful and less violent than when men fight.
Yeah, I would agree that some of that's connected to patriarchy and sexism and, oh, you little lady, you're not real, We talked years ago. I remember we talked about, they were like, "Oh, trans men, you're just girls. We're not really taking y'all too seriously," Yeah.
But then when I see my masculine brothers, I don't see them acting out too much. I think they learn real quick that I think trans guys who are passable, they learn really quick, like, oh no, I'm not seen as a safe space anymore. Oh no, if I fight, it's not going to be seen as scratching and hair pulling now. I got muscles.
You a black man, and when the police come, they gonna
right, exactly.
Like a nigga.
That too.
And it's not just that. It's both of those things, and also like most trans guys I know are not looking for fucking attention. I know that like most people I know, they're not looking for fucking attention, because once you get more attention, then you're gonna get some cis men involved, and then you're just gonna be a girl with a pussy, and now it's a whole different dynamic. And so, because we trans,
any type of violent situations that I have had was in my 20s. I never experienced any kind of violence in my 30s or in my 40s. So, and one of the reasons why that is because in my 20s, I hadn't experienced men like as an adult yet. And so there was just, I thought that if we're in love, and remember, this is just me being young and dumb, because listen, I just told you about all the experiences that I saw growing up, and they were supposed to be in love.
The messaging you getting, right?
Yeah, I felt like when I was young and seeing this happen, there was almost like I was trying to make excuses for it. Like I would be like with my grandma, like, girl, you kind of forced him in this situation when that's not her fault. You don't put your hands on another fucking human being. And so, but in my younger years, I was like, you're so fucking mean. Like, she would be talking shit, but I don't give a fuck how much you talk shit. Nobody deserves to hit you. Yeah, they can say something back to you just as harsh. And if you calling them a bitch, they can call you a bitch, but that don't mean that they can put their hands on you. When I got older in a relationship and my mouth is do, I'm not hitting him, but I'm saying toxic ass shit because we're arguing and da, and he says, boom. Now, there's nuances in that where he could feel comfortable hitting me because I was assigned male at birth. And when the police come, that ain't no motherfucking girl. And then now he done weaponized the da. I've been in that situation with a nigga that I was with. And in my brain, because of my gender dysphoria, and we both believing in the I'm a girl, you're a boy. We in this dating relationship, loving each other, living together, playing house,
Right.
and da 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 da. And I'm letting that illusion blind me to the potentials of what could happen. And so in that situation with him, I just was in the delusion of it and not realizing that, bitch, your transness adds some shit to this.
Yeah.
You not no cis woman. Your transness adds some stuff that I didn't in my 20s. I hadn't thought deeply about. I hadn't thought. I was just kind of living my life, trying to live.
Did you have anybody in your life providing some kind of intervention, providing some kind of counter messaging to all that shit? Or did you have multiple people in your life at that time?
I had people in my life, but nobody. I didn't have no therapist. I didn't have nobody who was trained to
Or like
handle this
socially, like in your social
no.
circle. No, right,
Because
okay.
because I was trans, my transness isolated me from people. My transness
Mhm.
allowed people to throw me away. I listen.
Mhm.
Grandma kicked me and my brother out, and so
Mhm.
why I got custody of my brother was because of the scenario of people throwing us out. And so
Mhm.
I didn't have people in my and also, even if people had a little bit of tea on how to handle a domestic violence situation, my transness trumped everything.
Mhm.
When people looked at me, they weren't looking at me concerned about, am I being abused in my relationship? They're looking at me like,
Mhm.
ooh, the tranny got a boyfriend. Oh,
Mhm.
you got, you. I remember going to my like a cookout with my man, and my uncles, they were so impressed by my man about how he performed his masculinity. They were so impressed by, and he didn't do anything bad at the thing, but how masculine and normal cis het he was presenting, because I guess they thought I was going to be with a punk or a gay boy or a super, I don't know what they thought, but he was so normal as far as a man that they weren't, if there was, and at that time it wasn't anything negative going on, but if it was negative, they wouldn't even be worrying about, are you happy with him? Are you in love with him? Is he treating you right?
Right.
As if I was a cis girl, they might have been asking questions in regards to that. When y'all go get married, when y'all go not, something. When y'all gonna have kids, they're gonna be thinking about the happy narrative that it could be. But as a cis girl, it was more about the novelty. So they weren't thinking about, they weren't even concerned of how we were paying bills, how my brother was doing. It just wasn't a concern. So there was nobody around me that was, even the women who had been in domestic violence situations, they were dismissing me because you a nigga anyway.
Mhm.
Like, you a nigga anyway. So you should be fighting him back. Or
Mhm.
or he ain't gonna fight you because you used to be a nigga. Or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not gonna think of it in the way that they would a cis girl. So nobody was around me telling me any kind of, they gave me no kind of
But,
advice.
Diamond, but also it seems like also the messaging that the cis women were getting wasn't really, you know what I'm saying, was also was kind of off around some of the stuff too.
But yes, but also I
I
think
mean,
that,
not off in the same way in terms of I'm not trying to be like, oh, they did not about how they dismissed you. I'm just saying what you also was observing around with the cis women when it came to these dynamics.
yeah, with the cis women, people who were even remotely going to have a conversation with me, because it wasn't nobody my age. My age was just as
Mm,
delusional
right, because you're
about
young.
violence and in love with these niggas and being a down
Right.
ass
So
chick,
the
a ride
bullshit
or
was
die
getting
chick,
reinforced.
and keeping it secret. Many
Right.
of the girls who were in domestic violence situations in my 20s, they were being beat up to and being quiet about it. So we really wasn't
Hmm.
having a circular uh, conversation with each other. And then
Right.
the older women, it almost was like for me, I don't know about how it is with cis women, but for me, the sentiment was, sweetie, you a woman now. This is what comes with
Yep.
womanhood.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
Yep.
wasn't.
I was expecting some kind of rites of passage kind of vibe, almost to a
Yeah.
certain extent.
This how niggas are. You wanted to be a woman. Here you go. Almost
Yeah.
like a punishment for me transitioning. You wanted to be a woman, motherfucker. So this is what
Mm-hmm.
comes with it, bitch. This is
I
what
got,
it is.
I
Mm-hmm.
got,
Niggas is like this.
I got
Mm-hmm.
that too. I got that too, Diamond. And I
Mm-hmm.
also got, how the fuck did you think they treated us?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
As if I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know. It's not that I didn't know, but that's not.
But it's different than experiencing it. It's totally different than experiencing
Yeah.
it.
And so
It's
that's
totally
what it was.
different.
If some people, some people was like, sweetie, this how being a woman is, it will almost be like this what it is. And then some people, some of them would be like, this is a punishment for you transitioning.
Yeah,
You
some
should have
bullshit like
stayed a
that. Yeah.
nigga. You should have stayed a nigga if you didn't want to deal with this because this is how niggas are.
And,
This is how men are.
I've even got a response in the gray area between those two dynamics, Diamond. I've got it where it's been given from a cis woman coming to me being like this shit like this is the reason why I wondered why you ever even wanted to be a woman.
Yeah. That
mm-hmm.
where it's a little bit of care and not a punishment. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So as I got older,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that, a lot of us are being quiet about it. So the cult, because of that, you don't really hear about it until it's too late or till they already done broke up with you. Especially trans women that I know that's been in this situation. I don't really hear about the violence until it's over. Till they done fucking with the nigga, and then we can talk about it. But in the relationship, they're so busy trying to sell that this is a good man that they're not giving you the late tease about what's going on. They oh my god, I'm a trans woman with a man and he cute, he got a big old dick, he fucking me down, and I want other bitches to be jealous. So I ain't even gonna tell all the negative stuff. I ain't gonna tell how he stole my tax money. I ain't gonna tell how he beat me up. I ain't gonna tell the bad side of him because it's giving me a good image as a woman. And so I don't hear about it if it's this hasn't been something that's been common in my friend circle now, but when I was in my early 30s and late 20s, I wouldn't hear about the bad stuff until it was happening. You know what I'm saying? After they had broke up with him or after it was, on his last leg. It wouldn't be when it started. It wouldn't be, oh, he just hit me last week, or you know what I'm saying? It would be after they already we're done. Yeah, I left him because of this.
And then the rare cases where I do see people exposing their lover for intimate partner violence and things like that. Then I'll also get people be like, oh, I ain't getting involved because she gonna go right back to him. Or I ain't getting invested in that story. Well, this is not what they saying, but ultimately they feel I'm not getting invested because they're gonna be right back together anyway.
It's funny because I've seen the situation with trans guys who've gotten her ass whooped. It's like, well, I gotta be a man. That's probably ain't gonna say shit. So that's gonna fuck with my manhood. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, actually, this ain't healthy at all, homie. You know?
That cis woman is beating you because she's not affirming you. Like that. I've seen that situation.
I've seen that. I've seen that happen with trans guys dating cis women. I've seen that unfortunately happen with trans guys dating trans women too, honestly. And like crazy ass shit. And it's kept quiet often and most times in my experience, well, with people I know, it's been kind of what we were talking about earlier. I don't want this to be the community or da 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 da. And my manhood, da 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 da. I'm supposed to be all this bullshit that they kind of bought into around this thing that's really about patriarchy, because that's the reason the man's supposed to be the provider and the blah 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 is because we're in a social culture around gender that says the quote man, the male man, is supposed to be in charge. It's supposed to be the provider. It's supposed to be the person with the money. It's supposed to be the person to fight. It's supposed to be the person to do all this fucking aggressive ass shit and control and power and control. And when you're invested in that and thinking that's what manhood is, it gets real fucked up because that's not what manhood is. Okay. But yeah, it's yeah, I've definitely seen a mix of that. I mean, even like growing up, you definitely have people where kind of my situation. You grow up, you got folks that also will be like, I'm doing the opposite. You know what I'm saying? And that's with anything, right? As kids, you see some shit. A lot of people that's Gen X or older millennials are like, I got relatives who are like, I will not smoke this bowl and weed with you. Crack, I'll smoke a blunt. It's too trauma. We ain't doing that. It's too close. You know what I'm saying? We ain't doing certain shit. But obviously I saw a lot of people getting their ass whooped or talked down to and all that as a little growing up as a girl and a woman and shit. But the that's a part of the reason how I got into all that egalitarian shit as in my young 20s, right? Because it was like, I don't want that. That was my way to respond to it. You know what I mean? As a lesbian at that time. It was like, I don't want none of that. I don't want anything close to it. It was very avoidance, in some ways. And I don't want anything that looks close to it because I don't want it just made me feel kind of gross, because it's this power and control shit, even though not everybody uh is investing in that. And that doesn't mean that every relationship between like a masculine and feminine person has to exist in that realm of bullshit. But I saw a lot of that, as I'm sure y'all did too, where it was like, these are some interesting dynamics. And I didn't want no part. But I'm grateful when I got to college and the privilege of that at that time in Madison, and that learning about consent and learning about like it was just like different organizations and it just kind of shifted. It provided an opportunity at a young age in my early 20s to have a social norm with a certain set of folks around the same age who were also queer, who also was like, I ain't going back to where the fuck I'm from. You know what I'm saying? And wanted to try something different. We were getting that education, and I'm grateful for that. My question for the audience, last question for y'all, just any final comments on how we can just even with our peers, our friends, our social circles, just kind of shift the culture around some of this shit. And yeah, just moving that conversation. Like, are there any final thoughts on that? In terms of like your social world with other trans folks?
My final thoughts is if somebody beating your ass, tell people. If somebody is harming people in the community, tell people. Be honest about it. Don't let that shit slide. There needs to be more consequences, and don't let them use their kids as a shield. If they got a history of beating people ass just because they got kids, don't mean that they can be a shield. Just because they trans, that can be a shield. No, if they out here harming people in communities, say something. If somebody's harming you, say something. So yeah.
What about you, Bree?
Same. All I would add outside of say something is stop making excuses for abusive motherfuckers. One of the worst things that you could do as a woman is attempting to excuse your son abusing another woman, your family member abusing another woman, your male friends abusing another woman. That's trash. I also, even if you don't like a bitch, I think that we need to have this established socially as Black girl code that we protect each other against these motherfuckers. Because we are in 2026 where when you will see video footage of the man beating his wife, honey, on their home cam, on their ring cam, on their Vivint cam, honey, the camera in the car, secret recordings, all types of shit, and you still make excuses. Anytime a woman comes out and says she's being beat or harmed, it's always questions. I just ask people to think about all of those things as well.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Diamond. One last comment on my end is even before anything is physical, it often starts with some bullshit and somebody talking down to you and calling you all kinds of out your names and shit. And those are really big red flags that could be a slippery slope to some shit that's violent. And also that's just emotional abuse. So it's like definitely listen to yourself. And regardless of how you identify, nobody's entitled to shit. You're not entitled to be in control of other people, possessive, all this other weird ass shit that's all caught up in that. That seems cute in the rom-com, that seems cute on the sitcom, that seems cute, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, no one's, you don't owe people shit. Listen to your gut. And let's encourage each other in our community to shift the culture around this. Let us know what you think. Hashtag Marsha's plate. Bree, break it down for them.
Hashtag MARSHASPLATE. Body crazy, curvy, wavy, big hips, little waist. Yes, child. Meg the Stallion. That body is crazy. It's curvy and wavy. She got the hips, the titties, the ass, the face, the vibe, the coin. All the things. Y'all know Meg the Stallion, right? Both y'all know Meg the Stallion. I know Diamond. I'm really asking you, Jay. But yeah,
I do know who made the stallion. Hold on. I do know who Meg the Stallion is. Okay, Stallion. Okay, breaks down Stallion and Eve.
Yes,
okay, all right.
Yes, honey. Yes, honey. With her non-binary name, because we know that Megan is a woman, honey, but we know that Stallion is a male horse. Anyway, Meg the Stallion broke up with her famous athlete, professional athlete boyfriend, Clay Thomas. And she made a post that gives the impression that he cheated on her and that they broke up because he didn't want to be monogamous. So I'm going to be honest. I am a hottie. That is people who belong to Meg's fan base. I'm definitely a hottie. I definitely love Meg. I'm not surprised that this man cheated on her. To be completely honest with you, as soon as I found out that she was dating a pro athlete, I was like, ooh, yikes. And then when I saw him, racially ambiguous, conventionally attractive athlete that is turning model and sports brand and all of the things, right? I knew he was going to cheat on her. I had a feeling. I assumed he was going to cheat on her. But I also hoped that he would surprise me. I also hoped, of course, that he would do right by our girl. And if either one of them decided to be non-monogamous, that was something that they both agreed on, you know? He's a celebrity man. Again, conventionally attractive looks, acute net worth. It's looking good for his future overall. I am under the impression that WAGs, for all who don't know, WAG stands for wife and girlfriend, and that just means the wife and or girlfriend of a professional athlete. I believe that WAGs and most people who date high-profile celebrity men, most people who date rich men, most people who date powerful men, I believe that they accept the idea that their man is going to cheat on them. And if it does happen, they have chosen to accept the fact that it has happened. Not that it's a good or a bad thing. I know for me personally, that doesn't work. But it also sounds to me like it's very possible that a lot of these women don't expect non-monogamy. I mean, let me cut that. I also believe that these women aren't expecting monogamy. I believe that they've come to a non-monogamous agreement on their own, whether the nigga is in on it or not. And when I say nigga, I'm referring to men in general, not just Black ones. For me, I think about biology. I think about how my sex drive was a lot crazier before hormone replacement therapy, before testosterone blockers, before estrogen. I was very much one of those people, and I very much had the mind frame there, like, honey, I would damn near fuck anything consenting and adult if I needed a nut that bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's the way that I used to think. But also we have to keep in mind that I transitioned pretty much. Well, I transitioned at the beginning of adulthood. So I don't know what being a 21-year-old man or being a 21-year-old pump full of testosterone would have been like for me. I don't know what being a 30-year-old pump full of testosterone would have been for me. Maybe I would have wisened up. But I think about the testosterone of it all. I also think about the evolution of it all, the animal of it all. We are just animals, right? We are just an evolved version of life, just like anything else on this planet, right? And instinctually, in order to survive, scientists believe that men, people who are assigned male at birth, are hardwired to want to have multiple partners to spread seed. Now, I don't believe that every man is a cheater, but I know that it is highly regarded, especially in the Black community. It is highly regarded that every man is going to cheat. Is highly believed. I hear women telling that to each other. And honestly, if I were to date a celebrity or a rich guy, I would expect them to cheat. I would have already come to that non-monogamous agreement in my head that I spoke about earlier. However, I have been in relationships where I genuinely believe I've been with partners who were men and male and didn't cheat on me. Or I believe didn't cheat. I have no reason to believe that they did, but then again, I never know. And that's also agreement that I made with myself. Honey, if I don't know, I don't give a fuck. If you so slick or sly, or if for you it was so throwaway or whatever, if I don't find out, I don't give a fuck. If everybody else don't know about it, if ain't nobody coming to me about it, if I don't suspect it, if I'm still getting everything I need and want out of the relationship and you still finding time and energy to cheat, then honey, congratulations to you. Can we bottle your energy or something and make another nigga out of you or something? What's going on? But I also think about the fact that with Meg Thee Stallion's public history when it comes to romantic relationships and cheating, I don't know if she really got the right to talk on this one. This is somebody who was fucking Tory Lanez while Kelsey was supposed to be dating them. And that was supposed to be her quote unquote best friend. And whether they was best friends or not, we knew for a fact that they spent lots and lots of time together during COVID, if no other time, because we literally saw them in the same place at the same time, all the fucking time. But I have two questions to y'all. And my first question is, do y'all believe that all men cheat?
No, I don't think all men cheat. I don't think all men with testosterone in their bodies cheat. And I don't think all men who may not have testosterone in their body cheat. I think cheating, to me, that's about, that's about control or like a violation to me. Like, it's one thing, like if you have an open relationship and y'all are like, listen, this is open, we're safe, we're on the same page, or we have some kind of, as you mentioned, Brie, around like consent and just like if we're all into it and we know what's going on, I'm cool with it. But I don't think that all men cheat. I do think that we have a dominant culture that encourages that. And for people, especially who are socialized as boys and boyhood and young manhood and young adulthood for men, that's encouraged. That's encouraged in media. That's encouraged. I mean, even as kids watching like Saved by the Bell, how many plots are just like entitled as fuck and cheating in this and all this kind of stuff. I can do what the fuck I want to as a quote man, in our patriarchal culture and shit. So, but I don't think everybody does it, because I know plenty of men that don't. And I think if a lot of people only know men that cheat, that then you can expand. We live in a world where you can expand your pool wide enough to run into men that don't cheat. Is all I'm saying. Like it may not be locally or in your neighborhood, but there's definitely men that don't. You know, to my
Just
initial
for
thought.
Just for the record, I agree with you. And to give Diamond a little more time to think over her response, because I feel like my sister think this is a dumb question. I feel like she's thinking how to approach it. But I want to know from you, Jay, do
Why
you
you say
think
that?
that rich celebrity guys cheat? Do you think that if somebody
I
is
think
rich and has access that they're going to cheat?
I think many people who are rich and have access do. I think I mean, that's what's being promoted, particularly to men and boys to like aspire to. And so like in our culture, in the dominant culture, right? And I think that is a thing. I don't think that's with all celebrities. I don't think that's true, but I do think that is common, but I don't think it's across the board, but I do think it's common. It's common as fuck, especially for young people. And not just young people. We talking about this Epstein shit. A lot of these people are married.
Yeah.
And they're celebrity, you know what I'm saying? Like, and not, you know, conventionally people that be, conventionally the beauty standards, the way that white folks set it up here, Bill Gates, the fuck. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's a big example of what that looks like in terms of celebrities. Many of them are married who were on that Epstein list. But even if you're not talking about some child rape and violating kids and crazy ass violence like that, sexual violence like that. Outside of that kind of context, just cheating. Yeah, I think people. I don't know. That's my thought. I don't know. People gonna cheat, they gonna cheat, but there's definitely like a lot of men that don't. Well, we definitely live in a culture that is like men can do what the fuck they want to do. So, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Mhm. What about you, Diamond? Do you think that all men all men who have access to a plethora of beautiful options or a plethora of options that they find sexually attractive, do you think that man will cheat?
I think unlimited money and power reveals a person's character. And so if you are a low character person, having access to money, having access to power is going to put you in a situation where you make decisions based on maybe those unhealthy natural instincts, maybe make decisions like a child, like a selfish child, and not consider all the people around you, not consider the commitments you made to people, not to consider how it's going to affect your children, your wife, your girlfriend. I think sometimes when you have access to that, it tests you, and there's many people who fail the test. And so I think that um I don't think that all of them do. I think some of them rarely have, but exist, have good character, and I think that's just what it is. But I think many fail when it comes to once they get to a certain level of money and power, they fail because they feel like, especially if they have a partner who is not powerful. I think what we see, the women who have money and access on their own and they find some shit out. Look at Cardi B, look at and they find some shit out, they do get the fuck on because I got money, I got something. But I think the women who don't have access to money in that way don't leave until they do. Think about Shawnee O'Neal. Like, think about the women. Once I get me a bag going on, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. But I think the ones who don't have access, they want to keep access to that security and that money. And I usually think that they have some type of don't fucking embarrass me policy. Like, you might do what you want to do. And I'm not saying that I agree. I'm not me, Diamond, but I think they say, I don't agree with you cheating, but don't fucking embarrass me if you out here doing it. I think there's a lot of women that like that. Like, you get what I'm saying? Take LeBron James and what's his wife name? Um
LeBron James and his wife.
She got a name though. I can't remember it though. But
Wait. I love it, Bree. I love Bree that you were like LeBron James and his wife. That's okay. That's what we're at right now.
I think
So please
she's
go
more
to...
popular than just being the wife. I think she's got
Yes.
something going on.
Yes. Yep.
But I can't remember her name. Anyway, but I think that situation like that, we don't hear too much about what's going on in a relationship, but I do think that because they have been together for so long, because I think they're high school sweethearts, they've been together for so long that I think that it is that she would be somebody I don't know for sure, but she would be somebody who I'd be like, don't be out here fucking embarrassing me, nigga. Don't be doing nothing that can come back to me and embarrass me. And I think there's a lot of that. I don't think it's just, I don't think every woman that's in a relationship with a athlete or somebody with money is like, yes, of course I let him do what he want to do and I'm okay with monogamy. I don't think that is common, but I think it is common. I'm not giving up my home. I'm not giving up the access to this money and this security. So nigga, I'm gonna cuss you out when I see you on TMZ. If I see something, I'm gonna cuss you out if I see some DMs or if I see some shit going on. I'm gonna get on your ass. I ain't gonna divorce you. I ain't gonna lose this money because a bitch ain't about to come in here and take my place. But I'm gonna get on your ass. I'm gonna let you know that I don't want to see this shit. I don't want to be embarrassed. And so I think that is the norm, but I don't think it's just the ladies is just like, oh my God, we're okay with it just because of you get what I'm saying? Like, yes, let's be non-monogamous. I don't think that's the norm. I think the norm is, motherfucker, don't play with me. I ain't leaving your ass, but honey, don't play with me. So yeah, another thing I want to add is I don't think. Listen, we're not uncivilized apes. While I understand how testosterone works, I've been on HRT too, and I know how I know the physical intensity of how testosterone works and how, honey, sometimes so hot I want to take a fine ass sexy bum I seen on the bus stop to the alley. I done been in situations, but I'm not a fucking uncivilized ape. I didn't take that sexy ass bun to the alley. I said, nah, this is inappropriate. He fine though. I can take him to the house and put him in a tub. Blah, blah, blah. I thought and played with the idea, but I did not because I'm not an uncivilized ape. I think that's what makes us different. We have a brain and our ability to not be slaves to our natural instincts. It's not that we're not animals or similar to animals in the way that how our chemical makeup works, but I also think that we are human. That's the difference that makes us different. That's what makes us human, that we're able to have a brain capacity to say, I am not, while yes, my natural inclination is for me to be like, fuck everything, fuck everything, fuck everything. I'm a human, so I'm gonna say, yeah, I might be horny, but I'm gonna go jack off and get that nut off real quick and be done with it. Or I like this. My secretary got some big ass titties and a fat ass, and I might want to do it with her, but I'm gonna make the choice to not fuck up my marriage and go home to my wife and fuck my wife. I think that distincts us from some animal that's like pounding our chest and let me grab you by the hair and fuck you behind a tree. Yeah, because testosterone. No, I don't think that is our makeup. I think some people are slaves to it. Yes, and want to pretend that it's just animal nature. Da, da, da. No, I think that you will have low character. You have a low character. You don't keep commitments. You don't. Now, we're not talking about single people who just out here fucking because it's the pleasure and want to do it. I'm talking about people who break commitments. You have made a commitment to a person and you are going behind their back doing sneaking. That's because you have bad character. It's not because you have testosterone in your body and you horny. Everybody get horny sometimes. You just are a bad person making bad decisions, cheating and breaking commitments. That's what you are. You chose to do that. It's no natural excuse. It's just you are a bad person. So that's how I think about it.
I get it. I dig it. Yeah, I just want to add that I don't think that people are bad necessarily for wanting to be non-monogamous, but again, like you said, it's the whole idea of breaking trust, breaking a bond, breaking a commitment, breaking an understanding, breaking a emotional and verbal contract with somebody who you're supposed to love deeply, love in a way that you don't love anybody else on earth. Yeah, no, I don't think that it's cool or acceptable in any way, shape, or form. I've never been the girl that has been into that type. I've never been the girl that's been into any popular nigga. Like if I have, whenever I've dated or dealt with people who were popular or known outside real bad, it was because they was after me. Like I never, that's a turn off to me because that's a sign of yeah, wanting to be a hoe. You know, you want attention. You know, you always outside. Little you can't never be in the house. Everybody know you. Everybody had you. Yeah, no. I don't know how I got
Wait.
into that rant.
Oh, wait.
I don't know how I got into that rant, but anyway, yeah, I think that there are certain signs that you could see when people are potential to cheat, man or woman. Clearly, every man is not a cheater. I would never believe that, never promote that. The whole idea that all men cheat is nuts. It's untrue. Some men are asexual. Some men have no desire to have sex with anybody. And it could be for medical reasons. You know what I mean? Yeah, it could be because of trauma. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
it could be I love my wife and I have a commitment to her and don't want to cheat on her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's who I not just a wife, but I have a wife, I have a husband, I have a boyfriend, I have a partner. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I am keeping that. Yeah, if you're a cheater, you're a bad person, in my opinion. Completely agree. Um, and again, I think that it's more about urges. It's about self-control. It's about self-respect. It's about respect for your partner. It's
Right.
about more than just wanting to bust a nut. But I say all that just to say that if you are consistently coming across cheaters, then you need to reconsider something that you're doing or something that you're going after or spaces you're in, energy you're attracting. But real quick, do y'all think that Meg deserves to be cheated on because she fucked Tori behind Castle?
I mean,
Um,
I don't really know all the details. I do know who Megan Thee Stallion is. Just again, for those who think I don't know, I'm a little cool, auntie. I know enough. But, sometimes that could be karma. I don't know. But I don't know. That's the but I don't think anybody really deserves to be, because to me, if you cheating, you violating the situation that you agreed to. So, I don't think in her situation, in her relationship or this situation, that's just cool. Please communicate with your partner. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to do some shit. I don't know. That's my thought.
I want to see Megan Thee Stallion with one of the WNBA niggas. I don't want to. Your luck isn't. She has admitted to being bisexual, baby. Let's get out of these nigga streets and start going. Not saying that this is you bisexual. Let's see how you fare in the other
Oh
option.
shit.
Let's see how you fare in the other option because this side is something going on with this side. So let's let that go. I would love to see her be with one of the studs, not the one that was beating on Choice Brown, not that WNBA person, but whoever's a good one. I would love to hear Megan come over to this side. Come on over and it be Niecy Nash kind of set where I found the one and we good. That's what I want. I want to see that because the niggas is so mad right now. They acting like she left them. The niggas are talking so much shit, and I would love to see her go and be in a lesbian relationship and it be perfect and work out. I would love to see that. I would love to see it. So that's what I
Well,
want to see.
hopefully that relationship's with someone who's not trying to mimic this toxic ass shit out here.
Yes.
Well. Honestly, I feel indifferent. But let us know how you feel about this whole situation, the whole breakup. Do you believe that all men cheat? Do you believe that all men who have access will cheat at some point? And when you let us know, make sure you hashtag Marsha's Plate. Otherwise, how are we going now? Hashtag MARSHASPLATE.
Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme euphoria, more than peace of mind. It's the joy and space to change the tide. Gimme it's a feeling and a high you never come down from. Whoa.
So, what is bringing y'all euphoria this week?
I spent time with my family this weekend. Y'all know I'm a very family-oriented girl. Y'all know I have a very big family. My family is so big that my partner has been to multiple family events at this time, and he still ain't even met all the main people. But every time he goes to an event, he meets new people. But yeah, so I got to see my family. Also got to see some people from back home. My cousin, whose party it was her 50th birthday party, and she, like me, we had a similar trajectory. Soon as she graduated from high school, like me, she got the hell up off the Eastern Shore. And so she has friends from the shore, from growing up, who she's had since growing up. And she also has friends from the DMV area, from DC. And so got to meet them, got to meet some of her friends. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Had a really good time. My boyfriend got super drunk. For all who don't know, I'm the designated driver in the relationship. So he be really feeling his shit, honey. Anytime we go anywhere and it's liquor, honey, he is white boy wasted, honey. That Caucasian, baby, that Caucasian turns red around this motherfucker. I'm telling you, don't, baby, and don't say no open bar. And of course, any of my family events he goes to, just like any of his family events that I go to, they're all open bar. So yeah, it'd be a hot ass mess, but that's what's bringing me euphoria. They still blowing me up in this family group chat, telling me to send them the pictures because I'm the one that had all the pictures on my phone.
I need to come to your family event. Please invite me.
Absolutely.
Y'all do bashes and shit. Events. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You and Diamond, open invitation around here. They excited to meet y'all anyway. But what's bringing you euphoria, Jay?
What's bringing me euphoria? I saw a couple things. One, every once in a while y'all hear me talk about the weather because I was in the PNW, and that weather really was just like sunshine or kind of rainy. So it's nice to be somewhere where it's like different kinds of weather, different kinds of things happening on the planet. So weather's giving me euphoria. It actually was like, it's kind of weird. It's not good. I mean, it's whatever. Global warming. But we got like 55 mile per hour winds today. And like, I don't know. Anyway, the weather's weird. I think weather's cute. I like to take pictures of storms and things like that. One of my good friends used to do that. And the other thing that's bringing me euphoria is there's this kid, I'll send the link, on the YouTube, not on YouTube, on Instagram. I don't know if y'all heard about it. He does these skits where he's like your older gay uncle relative who's kind of conservative. He does these little skits about his older gay uncle or whatever, who'll be like, pronouns. What are you talking about? Whatever. But it's it's parody, but it's really cute to see that. Anyway, I thought it was cute, but that's bringing me euphoria. I just kind of randomly ran across it and got sucked. You run across stuff, and I got sucked in. I was like, oh, I gotta go to the next one. I gotta go to the next one. I gotta go to the next one.
Rabbit hole, JD. We call it rabbit hole. We call it rabbit.
I'm spry enough to know about a rabbit hole. Okay, damn it. But But that's bringing me Euphoria because I went down a rabbit hole of videos on Instagram and got my life with my screen time. Then my eyes hurt after that, but it still was euphoric. What about you?
What's bringing me euphoria this week is Euphoria. It was going to be my topic, but we got super deep and beautiful on domestic violence, so I'm going to use it for my Euphoria. So, Euphoria, the show, the actual series on HBO, Euphoria is really good. It's always been good, but the characters, I'm not ruining anything for anybody, but the new episode is they're older, they're adults now, and they're not in high school. And so one of the characters, I like all of the characters though, but I like all of them. But Jules, the trans character in the show, is really growing to be one of my favorite trans representation in pop culture. Just the nuance of her story, the honesty of the beautiful side of her relationships, the beautiful cute side. Now, of course, Rue is toxic because she's on drugs, but but the beautiful side of the relationship and the ugly side of the relationship with Kyle, with Jacob, with Nate, um just and then now in this season they're exploring some ideas that I think are dope. They're exploring on in a nuanced way, in a good way, in bad way. There it's just so many layers that they are exploring in the character arc of Jules. And yeah, she's become the character of Jules is becoming one of my most beloved, honest trans representation in pop culture. I love it. So
Can I
yeah.
ask you a quick question on Euphoria?
Hmm.
Euphoria is the show that's like if Kids the movie from the '90s was like a series. Is that the show? I mean, not completely.
No,
Where people, I know is
I
Euphoria the
can
show where people are
understand
like,
why people say that, but not really. I can
I mean,
understand
not
there's
yeah,
parallels. There's
there's
parallels,
parallels. So I know
but
some people are like, "Oh, it's a lot." I mean, I haven't
it's
really
a
watched
lot.
it,
It's an
but I mean, a
adult show.
while. I mean, I haven't heard people say it's a lot that intensely more recently. But I remember when it first came out, I remember hearing a lot of people being like, it's deep. It's a
yeah,
lot
because
happening."
people didn't. It was hard for people to swallow that this was the life of their teenage kids, and that Gen
Mm,
Z has been exposed to so much at such an early
mm,
age.
It's an adult show.
right, right, right.
It's not a it's set in a teenage years, but it's an adult show, and I think it's the truth. I think it definitely
Hmm.
happens, and so yeah, if you're not somebody that wants to watch an
Hmm.
adult show with adult things and adult things happening, then it's not
Hmm.
for you. Heavy. We're
Right,
talking about
right,
sobriety and drugs and relapsing and prostitution and
right,
abuse and
right.
sex work, and it's a lot of themes in there. It's a lot of grown
Hmm.
Hmm.
themes, and I think they handle it well. Um,
Hmm. And you seen Kids too, right? I know
yeah,
you seen Kids. You seen Kids.
yes,
Kids is a movie from the '90s. Just for some people that might not know, with Chloe. That was Chloe Sevigny's. I think her breakout was
yeah,
Kids. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that I understand how people are making the parallel,
I mean,
but
this is all older people. Not old people, but older people.
yeah, I can understand why
Saying
people are making the
that.
parallel, but
Yeah.
it's more it's deeper. It's
Mm,
not that Kids wasn't deep. I think for its time it was deep.
mm,
But it's deeper, more raw, more honest, more just more. I think it's more set for now. And yeah,
mm.
so that's what brought me Euphoria this week. I loved it. I think that they are playing the fuck out of these characters. I hope they really wear it
This is
out when it
Zendaya,
comes.
right?
Yeah,
This the one that Zendaya's
Zendaya,
in?
her sister
Zendaya and Hunter.
Hunter Schafer, Cassie, Miss Good Jeans.
Oh,
um,
Rosario Dawson also got her breakout in Kids.
Yeah, she did.
That was her breakout. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what bringing me Euphoria this week. And yeah, let us know what's bringing y'all Euphoria this week, and we will see y'all next week.
Yes, honey. We still gonna be here, honey. I'm putting it in the universe.
We're here, we're queer, and we're trans. It doesn't all rhyme, but that's okay. We're good.
All right, y'all. Bye.
All right, peace, y'all.
Well, that's it. Thank you for coming and getting a taste of Marsha's Plate. You can listen to us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Make sure you leave a review because we really need those 5 stars, y'all.
And go like our Facebook page and leave some comments. We'll be posting exclusive content every Thursday, so you definitely don't want to miss out.
You can also follow us on Twitter and any other social media site at Marsha's Plate. If you'd like to donate or advertise with us, hit us up at diamondstylz@gmail.com. That's diamondstylz@gmail.com.
And that's it for us, y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You gonna say bye, Mia?
Oh, bye, y'all.
Every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't you worry about a thing. It's gonna be alright.